Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with the CEO of Biotron Limited, Dr. Michelle Miller. Michelle, welcome.
Thanks, Emma.
Michelle, can I ask you, what has Biotron achieved in the past year for shareholders?
Okay, we've had a really full year over these last 12 months. We had a number of different things that we'd hoped to achieve, and we've done all of the things that we said that we would set out to achieve in the last 12 months. The most important thing was the completion of our phase 2A hepatitis C trial, where we had 28 days of dosing, and we showed that at the end of the treatment period, where these patients were followed at 48 weeks, that 100% of the patients were clear of virus, and that was compared to 75% with placebo alone. In addition, we completed an HIV trial. So our drug is targeting the underlying reservoir of infection in HIV positives. And what we did with the trial was showed that the drug can get into these reservoir cells and it reduces the virus levels within them. And that was really important for us because it shows that the drug has the potential to be included in future elimination or eradication strategies. The third thing that we achieved on the clinical front was completing a trial in HIV hepatitis C co-infected patients. And we just at the end of last week, mid-October, announced phase 2 data, headline data from that, where we've shown 100% response rates or clearance in genotype 3 patients. So,
how significant is that you've shown 100% response rate in genotype 3? That is quite a significant breakthrough.
Yeah, it is. It's always been traditionally that the genotype 1s have been the hardest to treat, and we've certainly had very good data with that population. But now as companies are moving towards these new direct-acting antivirals, they're finding that their results in genotype 3s are actually not very good. And in fact, with some of the new hepatitis C direct-acting antiviral drugs that are in development, people are only getting 30% clearance rates. So there's a real market opportunity within the genotype 3s. So that's why we're really very pleased with the headline data we announced last week.
Next 12 months, what are the next tipping points investors should be looking toward?
So the next 12 months, the really key thing that we're doing is, I guess, finalising the final nails in the coffin so that we can get a deal. Our aim is to partner this to one of the major pharmaceutical companies. The other direct-acting antiviral drugs are all being used in the clinic for 12 weeks. So what we need to show so that somebody will buy our drug to mix in with their drug combinations is that it's safe with 12 weeks dosing. So the next trial that we expect to commence within the next month is a phase 2 trial with 3 months of dosing in genotypes 1 and 3 patients. So we'll commence that trial within the next month. We expect to complete recruitment by mid next year, and this time next year to have preliminary headline data from that trial. And in addition to that study, the other key thing for shareholders to look out for is we want to do an IND filing. So this is filing an application with the US FDA. It's the first real interaction that we're going to have with that organisation, and the point of it is that they will have a chance to comment on the next set of trials that would be likely to happen with 225 and give us approval so that we can then move to doing trials in the US. And that's a big tick against the drug. It's a big thing that potential partners will look out for, and it's something that investors should look out for as well.
Your drug BIT225 works in both hepatitis C and in HIV. Yeah. What is the main play moving forward?
I guess at the moment we're very focused in particular on the hepatitis C. The main reason for that is that it's a very fast moving field. The new classes of direct-acting antivirals are just starting to be approved, and we'd like to be part of them. We're aiming to fill the niche the gaps that their drugs are not filling. So that's really sort of unashamedly where we've been focused. However, the HIV program is a really interesting one. Within the HIV field, people have been very focused in the past on taking care of the T cell part of the disease, keeping patients healthy. That's working. But patients are still dying, 10 years earlier than they should. So if we can actually eliminate that pool of virus that's within those patients, it gives an opportunity for them to, really go on and live a full life.
And all indications to date are showing your drug could be the holy grail of HIV therapeutics moving forward.
Yeah, that's right. There's a really real push on for strategies for eradication or towards a cure, as the agenda's called. And we've got really good clinical data showing that the drug does exactly that it does work within these reservoirs and has that potential. So, while hepatitis C is the main one that we're focusing on at the moment for commercial perspective, there's a lot of interest as well within the HIV program, and that's something as well for shareholders to watch out for.
What would you say to investors at the moment? The share price has been fairly low, fairly stagnant. How can you reassure them?
Look, all I can say is that we're doing everything we can to, I guess we're very focused on trying to find a partnership. We're very focused on delivering something that's going to deliver real shareholder value in terms of returns from a partnership. While we would really like our share price to be well north of where it is, and we're very undervalued compared to equivalent companies, certainly in the US, I think the story is starting to get out there. And if shareholders really just need to focus on the next 12 months and what we expect to achieve, and then the results will come and the benefits will come to them.
What are you seeing in the US at the moment in terms of interest in the hepatitis C space?
What we're finding, excuse me, is we just came back from New York recently, and we had a very interesting couple of weeks talking with different fund managers as well as with US analysts who follow the hepatitis C space intimately. They know more than I'd even know about the hepatitis C space. And they got our story. They really understood exactly what we're trying to achieve. We're not a competition for these other new direct-acting antivirals that are out there. They're not a threat to us. In fact, it's great because they're opening up this new part of the market. What it makes it for us is we can ride on their coattails. They're already out there in this space. They know their drugs aren't going to cover all types. The analysts in the US know it's not. So we're really very comfortable with where we're sitting. We just really need to show that the drug is safe for 3 months. That's the key thing. And have activity against other genotypes. And we've just shown that with the data that we put out last week, that we can target genotype 3 in addition to genotype 1.
So very exciting 12 months ahead, and a lot of potential tipping points for investors.
Yes, that's right. I think we've got good solid news flow going out over the next 12 months. We're starting the announcement of the commencement of our phase 2, larger 3-month dosing study. We expect to have additional data from our HIV program later this year, as well as additional data from this current trial that we present, the co-infected study, which we're presenting at AASLD next week, but also in December additional data from that. In the new year, the filing of the IND, recruitment as we go along with the longer trial, and then hopefully this time next year we hope to have good data from this next phase 2 hepatitis C study. And
always the potential of a partnership announcement along the way.
Well, that's right. We continue to engage with potential partners. It's quite a really key focus of activities within the company, as well as out there talking to existing and new potential investors. On the corporate side of it, the partnering part is really one of our major focuses.
How are you funding your programs at the moment? Is there a need for any more capital raising?
Yeah. At the moment, the capital, we have 3.5 million in cash as of the end of the last reporting period at the end of September. That's enough to see through the programs that we currently have planned, including this 3-month dosing study. And it should take us through to the end of next year. Once we get into the first half of next year, we'll review and be looking at our situation going forward.
Final message for investors?
I think that it's going to be a really exciting year. We've had no fatal flaws. Everything we've done has been right. We're doing everything as it should be. The data has been solid. We're going from key markets that have huge potential returns. And I think that hopefully this time next year we'll be sitting here with you with considerably improved share price, and it'd be really nice to have a deal. But that's sort of slightly out of our hands, but we do what we can to facilitate that.
Thank you very much, Dr. Michelle Miller.
Thank you.